Let me tell y'all something. Love is a funny thing. You can act all cool, all collected, but when somebody's got a hold on your heart and you got a hold on theirs, there are signs. And sometimes you don't even realize you're giving yourself away. See, there's a difference between I like you and I can't stop thinking about you. And when it's mutual, phew, that's a whole different ballgame. First off, you gotta understand something. People can hide words, but they can't hide energy. That's why when you both got each other on your mind, you start seeing the little giveaways. You're not calling every day, you're not texting every hour, but somehow the timing is always just right. You send a message and they're already typing back like they were waiting for you. You pick up the phone and they say, "I was just thinking about you." That ain't coincidence, that's connection. And here's another one. You start remembering the tiniest details about each other. Stuff you didn't even think you paid attention to at the time. You remember the way they laughed that one night, the exact words they used when they told a story, the color of their shirt the first time you met. And you know what's wild? They remember too. They bring up stuff you forgot you even said, and it hits you. You've been living rent, free in their head, same way they've been living in yours. Then there's that eye contact. Oh, don't get me started. When you're in the same room, you're not just looking, you're locking, and it's not a stare that makes you uncomfortable. It's the kind that makes the whole world fade out for a second. That's the silent conversation where you both are saying, "Yeah, I feel it too." And you don't even need words for that. But the real giveaway, it's how you show up for each other without even realizing it. Maybe they send you a random song because it reminded them of you. Maybe you catch yourself checking the weather where they live. Maybe you go to your favorite coffee spot and order their drink without even thinking. That's when you know this isn't just a passing thought. This is a person woven into your daily life without you trying. See, when you both can't stop thinking about each other, it's not loud. It's not always dramatic. It's in those quiet, subtle moments that add up. It's the way you hear their voice in your head when you're about to make a decision. It's the way their opinion matters even when they're not around. It's the way their name popping up on your phone changes your whole mood. Now, don't get it twisted. This kind of thing doesn't happen with everybody. You might meet hundreds of people in your life, but only a few will ever get stuck in your mind like that. And when you find it's mutual, when you realize they're thinking about you just as much, that's special, that's rare, and you better believe when it's real, you won't have to guess it'll be written all over the way you both move. So if you're sitting there wondering, do they think about me like I think about them? Look for the signs, they'll be there, and if you're lucky enough to see them, don't play games, because mutual connection like that, that's the kind of thing you don't just find. You recognize it, you respect it, and you hold on to it. You know, people always think love is about the big gestures, the flowers, the fancy dinners, the over-the-top confessions. But let me tell you, the real truth of connection hides in the small, almost invisible moments. And one of the clearest signs that two people can't stop thinking about each other is the way their timing lines up. Now, I'm not talking about some kind of scripted romantic comedy where both folks decide to call at the exact same second just because it's cute. I'm talking about something real, something that happens so naturally you can't even plan it if you tried. When you've got somebody on your mind all the time, your actions start lining up with theirs without you even realizing it. You might wake up one morning and think, "I should text them." And before your finger even hits the keyboard, boom, there's a message from them saying, "Hey, you popped into my head." And here's the thing, that's not just random, that's energy. That's both of you tuned into the same frequency without trying. You don't need to talk every hour. You don't need to check in constantly, but somehow, when you do reach out, it's like the universe timed it for you. And you can try to explain it away. Tell yourself it's just coincidence. But deep down, you know better. Because this isn't a one-time thing. It happens again and again. You're scrolling through your phone, thinking about sending a funny video, and just as you're about to hit send, they share one with you first. You're about to call and suddenly see their name lighting up your screen. That's when you realize you're not just thinking about them, they're thinking about you too at the exact same moments. Now, this kind of connection can't be forced. You can't fake it. If you've ever tried to make somebody think about you by overcalling, overtexting, or pushing your way into their day, you already know. It doesn't work like that. Real timing connection comes from genuine thoughts. You're going about your life, doing your thing, and suddenly they cross your mind. It's not a planned reminder. It's not because of a social media post. It's because they've become a natural part of your mental space. And when it's mutual, that's when you both start showing up for each other in these perfectly aligned little ways. Think about how rare that is. Most people are moving on their own schedules, caught up in their own worlds. So when two people's worlds start overlapping without effort, it means you've both made space for each other in your minds. That's why the timing feels so effortless. You're both carrying each other around in your thoughts, so the moments you reach out naturally match. And let me tell you something. This is more powerful than you think, because timing builds emotional rhythm. It creates a sense of safety, of understanding. It's like dancing with somebody who knows the next step without you having to say it. You send a text when they need encouragement. They call you when you're feeling low, and neither of you planned it, but somehow you were there for each other at the right time. That's more than romance. That's trust in motion. I've seen people ignore this sign because they think it's too small to mean anything. But here's the truth. Big relationships are built on small signs. If you're only waiting for grand gestures to prove someone cares, you're gonna miss the quiet ways they're already showing it. When somebody's thoughts naturally align with yours often enough, it means you matter to them on a level they don't have to think about. And that is the purest kind of attention. And the beauty of it is, it's never loud. It's not, look at me, I'm thinking about you. It's just those perfectly timed check-ins, those I was just about to call you, moments. That's how you know you're in their mind, even when you're not in the room. That's how you know they've got you woven into the fabric of their day. So if you notice that your timing with someone always feels on point, don't ignore it. Pay attention. That's not just the clock working in your favor. That's two hearts and two minds moving in sync. That's rare. And when you've got that kind of timing with someone, you owe it to yourself to recognize it, because not everybody gets to feel that in their lifetime. Some people will go years, even decades, without meeting someone whose rhythm matches their own. And here's the kicker, it's not always about romance. Sometimes it's a friend, sometimes it's family. But when we're talking about that person you can't stop thinking about, and they can't stop thinking about you, this timing thing becomes a signal. It's a way of saying, you're important to me, without actually saying a word. It's proof that they've carved out space in their head and their heart for you, just like you have for them. At the end of the day, love isn't just in the grand statements. It's in the timing. It's in those unplanned, perfect moments where you realize someone was thinking about you right when you were thinking about them. That's not luck. That's connection. And if you've got it, hold on to it. Because once you've experienced it, you'll know. It's not something you find twice. When two people can't stop thinking about each other, One of the clearest signs is how the smallest details about the other person get stuck in your mind. We're not talking about remembering their birthday or the fact that they like coffee over tea. Those are easy. This is about recalling the little, seemingly insignificant things that most people wouldn't notice, much less remember. And here's the thing, when it's mutual, they're doing the same with you. It's almost like you've both got an invisible mental notebook where you've been writing down tiny observations without even realizing it. You remember the way they laughed that one time, the exact pitch of it, the way they tilted their head when they told a funny story. You recall how they looked at you in a certain moment, how they used a specific word that stuck with you, or how their eyes lit up when they talked about something they loved. These details aren't just stored in your memory. They're replayed in your mind when you least expect it. You could be doing something completely unrelated, like washing the dishes, and suddenly that exact laugh or that little smirk flashes in your mind. That's not just memory, it's connection, and the wildest part. They'll remember details about you too, details you didn't even think mattered. They'll mention a small comment you made weeks ago, or they'll bring up something you wore once like it's burned into their brain. You might not even remember saying it, but they do, because you've been on their mind long after the conversation ended. That's when you realize mutual thought isn't always loud and obvious. Sometimes it's quiet and specific. It's not about what's flashy or noticeable to everyone else. It's about the personal moments that only the two of you shared. Maybe you mentioned in passing that your favorite ice cream flavor is pistachio, and the next time you hang out, they bring it without asking. Maybe you told them about a song you loved and later they send you a live version they stumbled across. These moments aren't grand gestures. They're proof that they've been carrying you around in their thoughts, even when you weren't there to remind them. You see, details stick when there's emotional weight behind them. Our minds are flooded with information every single day, but we don't keep it all. We hold on to what matters to us. So if you find yourself remembering the tiny quirks, the unique expressions, the little things that make someone asterisk them asterisk, that means they matter. And when they remember your little things too, that's a mutual mental investment. Now, why is this so important? Because it's easy for someone to say they're thinking about you. Words are cheap, but remembering small details, that takes attention, that takes genuine care. You can't fake knowing how someone takes their coffee without them telling you every time. You can't fake remembering the exact way they describe their favorite movie unless you are truly listening. That's the beauty of it. This isn't performative. This is natural. When two people can't stop thinking about each other, they're constantly collecting these small details without effort. You're in conversation, they say something, and it sticks. You're out somewhere, and something reminds you of them, not because you're trying to think about them, but because they've become part of how you see the world. The smallest triggers, a scent, a song, a color, send your mind straight to them, and you know what's even more telling, when you bring up these memories or details, and they light up because they remember too. It's like a secret language made of shared moments. And here's the real kicker. Details are what build intimacy. Anyone can know the broad strokes of your life, but the ones who can recall the tiniest specifics are the ones truly invested. When you start to notice that your conversations are filled with "remember when you said," or "I know you like," it means you've both been paying attention in a way that goes beyond surface level. That's a deep kind of connection, one that doesn't fade easily. Some people might overlook this because they're looking for the obvious signs: constant texts, big gifts, over-the-top declarations. But I'll tell you this, the person who remembers how you take your drink, the inside joke from months ago, The way you wrinkle your nose when you're thinking asterisk, that's asterisk, the one who's really got you on their mind. And if you're doing the same for them, well, you don't need a love letter to know where you both stand. Mutual attention to detail is also a sign of respect. It shows that you value each other enough to listen fully, to store these moments like treasures instead of letting them pass by. You're telling each other, without saying it outright, you matter to me and I notice you. That's powerful, because feeling truly seen is one of the rarest experiences you can have with another person. So if you find yourself carrying around the little things about someone, how their favorite sweater feels, the way they hold their pen, the exact tone of their voice when they're excited, and if they're doing the same for you, don't dismiss it. That's a sign that you're both living in each other's heads rent-free, and no matter how busy life gets, no matter how much time passes between conversations, those details will still be there. Because when someone becomes part of your inner world like that, you don't just forget them. They've left their mark, and you've left yours on them. And the truth is, that's where real connection lives, in the tiny, unforgettable details that only the two of you care about, but that mean the world because they're yours. There's something about eye contact that words can't touch. You can talk for hours, send 100 texts, and write the sweetest messages, but one shared look can say more than all of that combined. When two people can't stop thinking about each other, their eyes give them away every single time. You can try to play it cool, pretend you're just casually glancing, but the moment your eyes lock, the truth shows up in full. It's not just looking, it's that pause, that little second where your eyes meet and neither of you looks away right away. You're not even trying to make it intense, it just happens. The rest of the room fades out, and it's like you're both speaking in a language nobody else can hear. In that moment, you're saying, I see you, I feel you, I've been thinking about you. And when it's mutual, they're saying it back without even opening their mouth. Eye contact like that isn't the same as the casual kind you have with strangers or coworkers. It's deeper, heavier in the best way. There's an electricity in it, but it's not awkward. It's familiar. It feels like you've been there before, like you've been having this same silent conversation for weeks in your head. And now you finally get to say it without speaking. Sometimes it's quick, like a glance across the room where you both catch each other at the same time. Other times it lingers, like you're both in no rush to look away because you know exactly what's happening between you. And here's the thing, you can't fake that kind of eye contact. You can look at anyone, sure, but you can't create that spark unless there's already something there. That spark comes from thought, from curiosity, from already having that person in your mind long before you see them. When two people think about each other constantly, their bodies start to respond in little ways they don't even notice. Eye contact is one of those ways. You might be in a group, surrounded by noise and conversation, but somehow your eyes find theirs without you meaning to. And once they do, you hold that look a little longer than necessary. That's the unspoken proof that they've been on your mind and you've been on theirs. It's also the way the eyes change during these moments. People don't realize how much their emotions leak out through their eyes. When you're looking at someone you can't stop thinking about, there's warmth there, a softness you don't show to everyone else. It's not just seeing, it's letting them see asterisk you asterisk. You might not be smiling, but your eyes give away every feeling you've been carrying. And if they're doing the same, that's not just coincidence. That's mutual thought spilling over into body language. The funny thing is, this kind of eye contact often happens when you least expect it. Maybe you're in the middle of telling a story and you glance over and they're already looking at you, completely tuned in. Maybe you're not even talking to each other, just standing nearby, and you feel the pull to look their way. The second you do, you realize they were already watching. That's not random. That's what happens when two people's minds are already connected before the moment even starts. And it's not just in person either. Even on a video call, you can feel it. That extra second of looking into the camera when you're both quiet, that little half-smile that says, "Yeah, I've been thinking about you." Technology might make the distance shorter, but the feeling is the same. The eyes don't lie. Some people underestimate this because it's silent. They think real signs have to be spoken out loud. But if you pay attention, you'll realize eye contact holds more truth than most conversations. When you've got someone in your head all the time, seeing them in person hits differently. Your eyes remember them before your brain even catches up. That's why the look is so real. It's recognition, not just observation. This kind of connection through eye contact also builds its own rhythm. Once you've shared those silent moments a few times, you start looking for them without meaning to. Your eyes will wander their way, even if you're telling yourself to focus elsewhere. And the moment they catch you, you both know. That's not something you can explain to other people. It's yours. It's the kind of thing where someone on the outside might just see two people looking at each other. But you both know there's an entire unspoken conversation happening in that glance. The truth is, eye contact is one of the most powerful indicators of mutual thought because it bypasses all the noise. There's no script, no filter, no carefully chosen words. It's raw, instant, and undeniable. You can pretend you're not thinking about someone when you're texting or talking, but your eyes will always tell on you. And when theirs do the same, you've got your answer. So, if you find that every time you're in the same space, your eyes keep finding each other, if you catch each other's gaze more often than you catch anyone else's, and if those moments linger just a little too long to be casual, you're not imagining it. That's two people's thoughts meeting in real time. And when it's like that, you don't need to ask if they've been thinking about you. You've already seen it. When someone is woven into your daily life without you even trying, that's one of the clearest signs you can't stop thinking about each other. It's not always about long phone calls or constant messages. Sometimes it's about the little ways they show up in your everyday routine, even when they're not physically there. You might not even realize it at first, but when you start paying attention, you see how much of your day is sprinkled with reminders of them. And if they're doing the same for you, it's proof that you both have a quiet, steady place in each other's lives. It could be something as simple as hearing a song that reminds you of them. Maybe you're driving, the radio plays a track they once said they loved, and you instantly think, they would be singing along to this right now. Or maybe you go to your favorite coffee shop, and without even thinking, you order their drink instead of yours. It's not planned, it's not a big decision. It just happens because somewhere in your mind, they've become part of the way you move through life. Sometimes it's about checking on things that don't directly affect you but matter to them. Maybe you find yourself checking the weather where they live, or keeping track of an important event they told you about weeks ago. You're not doing it because you feel obligated. You're doing it because you care, and because their life has become tied into your own in ways you didn't expect. The fact that you're holding space for their world without any effort says a lot about how much they're on your mind. And this works both ways. When someone can't stop thinking about you, they start showing up for you in little, almost invisible ways too. They might send you a random video because it reminded me of you. They might ask how something went that you barely even mentioned. They might keep something you said weeks ago in the back of their mind and then surprise you by acting on it. These aren't grand gestures, they're proof of genuine thought. It's their way of letting you know you're part of my day, even when we're not talking. It's also about how they find ways to connect without needing a reason. Maybe they tag you in something funny online. Maybe they text you out of nowhere just to say hi. Maybe they share a memory from the past because it popped into their head. All these little moments create a thread between the two of you, weaving your lives together without either of you forcing it. And that's the difference. You can't fake this. You can send someone 100 messages in a day and still not be in their thoughts as deeply as someone who reaches out just once, but with genuine feeling behind it. Over time, this quiet presence becomes something you rely on without even realizing it. You start expecting to hear from them when something significant happens. You start looking forward to their reaction to your stories. You even find yourself thinking, I can't wait to tell them about this, in the middle of your day. That's when you know they're more than just a passing thought. They're part of your mental landscape. And when you realize they're doing the same with you, it's confirmation that the feeling is mutual. The beauty of being woven into someone's life like this is that it's steady and consistent. It's not about huge romantic gestures or intense bursts of attention that fade away. It's about the quiet, everyday ways you exist in each other's worlds. It's the fact that they could be having the busiest day but still take a moment to think of you. It's the fact that you can go hours without speaking, but still find something in your surroundings that makes you want to reach out to them. This kind of connection is rare because it's not built on performance. It's built on genuine care and familiarity. It's about knowing the little rhythms of each other's days, remembering the small details, and naturally making space for each other in the middle of everything else. And the best part is, you don't even have to try. The thoughts come on their own, the actions follow naturally, and before you know it, you've both become part of each other's daily life in ways you couldn't have planned if you tried. So, when you notice that someone keeps popping into your day without you forcing it, when you find yourself acting on thoughts of them without hesitation, and when they do the same for you, it's not random. That's what it looks like when two people can't stop thinking about each other. It's not loud, it's not always obvious, but it's powerful. Because being quietly present in someone's life, day in, day out, isn't just about thinking of them. It's about making them part of who you are, even when you're apart. And when it's mutual, that's when you know you've got something worth holding on to.